good, y'all? So in this video, I'm going to be reacting to Fantastic Hip Hop, why Lil Wayne ended the Kendrick beef and Drake hates him for it. Okay, so I saw a post this morning, like when I woke up, regarding Lil Wayne doing like an interview and them talking about the Super Bowl. Obviously, I automatically went to that he was still complaining or whatever. So I don't really know what happened, but it's saying that he ended the beef. So maybe that was like a positive conversation that they had in the interview. And then obviously Drake would be annoyed because, you feel me, y'all know why. But I really don't know nothing about this, so let's just get into it.
Now, just when it seemed like we understood how every major player in hip-hop felt about each other after the most significant beef we have seen in decades, Lil Wayne once again came out and made comments about Kendrick Lamar, him getting the Super Bowl halftime show, and even what Kendrick said about Lil Wayne on the intro track to his album GNX Whacked Out Murals, which everyone perceived as a diss. And now what's clear is that Lil Wayne has came out and talked about what is the most pivotal situation on the horizon in rap music right now. Over everything else, Drake is livid at the man who he once called his idol. But now before we get any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out.
Yeah, leave a like and subscribe.
Drake, because he is directly affected by this. All starts with Lil Wayne hopping on none other than Skip Bayless's podcast, which important to note here for those who don't know, Wayne and Skip are surprisingly great friends. And on this pod, as these two were talking about where their two fields will be coming together more than they ever have. In, of course, the Super Bowl and the halftime show, which is not just in Wayne's own city of New Orleans, but is featuring an entire MC playing the whole thing. Even in this era where most journalists are scared to ask the actual hard-hitting questions we want to know, Skip went out.
I don't think I agree with that. I think they actually go over the line and end up pissing people off. And people end up walking out the interview. You know what I'm saying?
Out in this moment and asked Wayne what we all wanted to hear, as he straight up asked him to explain Kendrick's lyrics. Used to bump the Carter 3, held my rolly chain proud, irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down.
Whatever.
Skip responded saying, that's my first time hearing it, but I think he's a fan. I'm a fan of his music. I think he meant he's...
Your first time hearing what? Is he gaslighting us? What was the tweet about? If it hold on. If it won't about them lyrics, what were you talking about in the tweets? We all saw the tweets. I'm not tweaked, right? The tweets, he said something about he was going to destroy if disturbed or something. So what were you talking about?
Down. It ain't like he can control it or nothing, and I've also spoken to him and wished him all of the best. And then after this, Skip asked Wheezy, since he and Kendrick spoke, did he say anything to enlighten you about these bars specifically? To which Wayne said no. There was no explanation on him that was needed for that. And so now with all of this, there is a lot to unpack here that is going to have major implications on every single MC involved here, because with what Wayne just said, first off, completely goes against the post we saw from him not even a full 24 hours after GNX dropped, where he...
I just needed the confirmation because, you know, I was like, am I being pranked? Like, what was going on just then? It was a whole tweet. Everybody thought he was going to come up with a diss track and everything. Like, it was really a thing.
Where he was, of course, reacting to his name drop on the album like he got full-on dissed by Kendrick Lamar. And
so
then, of
that
course...
wasn't the first time you heard the lyrics. There's no way, unless someone was like, Kendrick Lamar dissed you. And then he just went with it, which is really wild, too, actually. But
said that he was going to show just how much of a monster he really is as an MC for being treated the way he has, which immediately made this situation with him and Kendrick look like it may end up in a full-fledged back and forth. And this was only further fueled by people like Joe Budden and others in the industry that said Wayne even went as far to get in the booth after he heard Kendrick diss him and recorded something which people thought was going to be a full-on diss track that would release inevitably. But now, despite all of that, with what Wayne is saying here, he's going on to say that he hasn't even heard what Kendrick said about him on Whacked Out Murals, and that most importantly to everything, he and Kendrick got on the phone and they talked about whatever this misunderstanding was, and seemingly settled the confusion because from his very own words, Wayne is saying he is a fan of Kendrick and wants him to have a great performance. So overall, while the context and way these events have changed so rapidly seems very confusing, and some people even think Lil Wayne is backtracking here because just like so many other rappers, he's scared of Kendrick Lamar once he realized what he's actually up against. Bigger than all of this, what really seems to be the situation here is that when it comes to Lil Wayne right now, something is clearly wrong behind the scenes, and when you piece everything together, you will
What
see
you
that
mean?
there is no one else to blame other than his current manager, who first off has no experience as a manager and was a studio engineer before getting control of Lil Wayne's entire brand, and ever since Kendrick was announced to be the Super Bowl headliner. If you follow the events along from what he posted directly about him being mad at Kendrick, to just knowing the way the business of all of this is handled, which oftentimes ends up
Excuse
having
me.
representatives speaking on artists' behalf, even on their social media pages. Again, while this situation is so confusing, it's clear that this manager for Wayne has done nothing but make his career more chaotic since he got the job. Because again, if the first time we are seeing Wayne just speak unfiltered and directly is on this podcast with Skip Bayless, who again is one of his best friends, it
Best
really
friend.
seems unlikely that he is just straight up lying to somebody who he's so close with. And when you see this and also know that Lil Wayne is notorious for just not keeping up with anything that goes on in the music industry and in hip hop, as again, all we have to do is just go back to that classic example of him thinking that 21 Savage was a band to see just how out of the loop Wayne has been with the current state of the entire culture.
Okay, he meant 21 Pilots.
What really seems like happened here is that Lil Wayne was just told by his manager and others around him that Kendrick Lamar dissed him. And Wayne probably didn't even listen to GNX and maybe even never heard that bar about him directly. And
And that's really sad. But I don't know which one is worse. That you just heard he dissed me and didn't even go to see what the diss was, or you lying about listening to the song to try to seem like it didn't affect you or something, or like that you're not like a fan of, or but he said he was a fan. I don't know.
out of the loop because his team pushed him in the wrong direction without actually giving him the proper facts, which he obviously didn't go out of his way to dig for. And this would make sense why Wayne has a completely different energy about Kendrick Lamar than the actions we saw online. But now, with this entire situation
'Cause he's a
between Wayne
ref.
and Kendrick, even
Well,
while this seems to be the truth, there are just too many unknown factors to really say if this is 100% what's going on. But what we can say is definitive from this situation is that Lil Wayne sitting down with his friend Skip and saying that there is no beef between him and Kendrick and that he's 100% a fan of him and wishes him the best for the Super Bowl. Is that when it comes to Drake, while it's been so confusing to figure out where everyone in the rap game stands with him as a whole, what's apparent is that in this time where Drake's career in almost every single sense of the word has been in shambles and ruin because of what Kendrick Lamar directly did to him. And even in that beef, Wayne was directly mentioned by Kendrick as he pointed out how Drake has even betrayed his own mentor over the years. That in this time altogether where Drake has needed somebody to check him out of the game and try and save whatever is left of his.
he got people. Tory Lanez. Y'all heard Tory Lanez from inside the jail cell. He said, "I need y'all to do what y'all did to Drizzy." That's what that's what the justice system is doing to your ass. Okay, that's what they're doing. Okay, he got 50 Cent. You know, he got Aaron Drew, Scholes.
Wayne directly in that position because he seemed livid about not getting the call to play at this event, of course. Now, even after all of this and all of the months that have passed since Drake and Kendrick, Lil Wayne is yet to speak out on not just this situation, which despite the fact that Wayne is not tapped in with a lot of things in hip-hop, considering how commanding of a cultural event this beef was, and also knowing that he has heard songs like Not Like Us as he chanted this in a performance over and over again, he definitely was aware of what was going on.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a diss way. It was like he was like holding an OVO chain, and he's like, "They not, or they don't like us," something like that.
Kendrick Lamar, and even after Kendrick got the call to play at the halftime show over Wayne, which even if Wayne was not mad at Kendrick, overall he was still mad that he was not the one performing. All in all, the one thing clear from this situation is that after all the speculation and wonder, Young Money as a whole may have turned on Drake because now with Lil Wayne, who seemingly has done nothing to help Drake, and after Wayne has now directly come out and pretty much gave Kendrick his stamp of approval to go crazy when performing at the event where everyone is waiting to hear him play the song that ended Drake's career and of course Not Like Us, you would imagine that Drake is livid, and despite how he has tried to get Wayne back on his side by trying to praise him for months over and over again, now it seems like we won't even see cringy social media posts where Drake is trying to act like they are closer than they really are. Because seemingly, whether Lil Wayne has realized what he's doing or not, he has sent the message about how he's really feeling and where his loyalty lies. And again, when you look at where Drake may stand with other Young Money members like Nicki Minaj, which again, after Drake has spent more time working and supporting new female MCs, who directly have beef with Nicki, which we see with someone like Lotto, again, seems to be sending another bad message.
Speaking of Lotto, have y'all watched Rhythm and Flow season 2? If you have and finished it, I need to talk about it.
Wayne and everything surrounding it. What is most clear about this very confusing situation is that things between Wayne and Drake are just getting worse, as this moment in time where the biggest stars in the game have never been more at odds keeps going on. And for Drake, from his perspective, with now the last actual talented and gifted MC, who it seemed like was against Kendrick, is now supporting the very moment that you're terrified of, and that's gonna ruin your reputation more than it already has been, which of course is gonna be when Lamar plays Not Like Us for over 100 million people sitting at home. If Drake has any ounce of any sort of respect left, which while when it comes to making good music we know he doesn't, but when it comes to calling out people who he has beef with, just seems to be something that he is enjoying more with each week that passes. All in all, while Drake and Wayne being at odds is something that most people would have never predicted, and seeing a mentor
What? They had a beef. They actually did diss tracks to each other. Cause I remember they made up on Beyonce and Jay-Z's beat for Family Feud, and they did they used that beat. Speaking. And was this like Lil Wayne, Skippy, whoever? Was that interview? Like, was there anything said in a different way? Because I know, like, when somebody relays things, they can just say, oh, well, this person said so and so. But, like, if you don't hear tone and stuff behind it, it could have been, like, condescending or backhanded or anything. Is it like how Fantastic Hip Hop is saying? I might need to watch the interview, to be honest, to get my own.
So shocking. Overall, if Wayne is going to go this far to vouch for the guy, where in this time has been the one who has been responsible to take some of the biggest moments he could have gotten in his entire career away from him. Meanwhile, he has still been quiet about supporting Drake. And at the same time, Drake is now seeing Wayne support what could be the symbolic finale to his downfall before entering actual irrelevancy compared to the level of stardom he was once at. Altogether, Wayne has now just taken Drake's career and left it in a state where it is even weaker than it was before, which is of course saying a lot, because the respect Wayne brings to hip-hop as a whole has really protected Drake's reputation from a lot of negativity and backlash over the years. But if Wayne is now giving Kendrick the green light to just do everything he wants to at the Super Bowl, it is really over for Drake. And
I just have a hard time believing that he said that. I don't know. I feel like he probably was like, congratulations. How do we know they actually talked? I don't know. They probably did, though. But it's just that every time that he's spoken about it, he's been so, like, sad. You know what I'm saying? So to feel like he's just, like, it's completely turned or the vibe has shifted off of that, it's really, really difficult to believe. He might be, like, better about it, but just being like, go kill it. Go, maybe. I don't know. It's not making sense in my head, and that's why I can't grasp it. I should have watched it.
With something this major and career shaking for him, I don't even know how you begin to address this and move forward from here. And when it comes to Drake ever opening up about this, I don't think we will see it until we get an actual project from him. At the end of the day, with Wayne choosing Kendrick over Drake in front of all of us, we are seeing more than ever that this downfall from Drake is not because of this big industry.
Well, that's not what he said either. I don't know. I feel like Fantastic Hip Hop is reaching. I feel like he's just not complaining no more. But I don't know. Like, it's like when stuff is so up in the air, I don't like to jump to conclusions because they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because he said go and kill it, that means he chose a side. But he was just saying if he's disturbed, he will destroy and stuff. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Plan against him. But it's just because, like so many other rappers, Wayne has felt betrayed by him over the years, not just for what Kendrick said on Not Like Us, but probably for so much more that we don't even know. And again, while this situation is just so complicated that we really don't have all the information to piece it all together, at this point, while we don't know what the full extent of how bad things between Drake and Wayne are, what we do know is that Drake just lost his last line of defense when it came to Kendrick Lamar fully humiliating his entire image like we have never seen. And so now with all this, let me know. What do you think about this entire situation and where all these MCs stand? And how do you feel Drake is going to end up responding to his idol giving Kendrick Lamar the go-ahead to just take him down to an entire new level? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to
Okay, I get what he's saying, but standing of like if this was just like he's like fully admitting like what he was doing and the complaining and stuff was wrong, and he's really happy for Kendrick and everything, or if it was like just a weird vibe during the interview, um, and like he's still salty about it type of thing. Because I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me that he complained for as long as he did, that all of a sudden he didn't even listen to the lyrics of the album, but all of a sudden he's choosing Kendrick's side. I don't know. Sometimes some of the fantastic hip hop rides whatever wave is like, or goes with the narrative that will beat Drake down the most. And I mean, I'm a Kendrick fan. You could even maybe call me a stan. Possibly. I don't know. Stans get weird. I'm a really, 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 I'm a big fan. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I would have to see for myself to figure it out. But anyways, this isn't very interesting. Let's see what happens from here on out. Who gonna release music soon? Somebody, please. But yeah, y'all come subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. I'll see y'all in the next one.